If you do this, you can speak English confidently. Hey guys, my name is Eddie. Today I'm gonna talk about how to speak English confidently. Do you feel weird yourself speaking English? Or do you get jealous when you see some Japanese people speaking good English? Do you wish you could be like them? Or you always feel like you're not confident enough to speak English? If you watch this video, you're gonna learn how to speak in a cool and confident way. And you're gonna be able to see the different version of you speaking good English. So when I was 20 years old, I started learning English. From elementary school to my second year of college, my life was pretty much about baseball. I had never been abroad and I've never taken an entrance exam in my life because I got into high school and college on scholarships, baseball scholarships. Honestly, when I started learning English, my English was garbage. I got agaten so many times and my English grade was 2. So I started at the bottom, just like everyone else. But now, I came to speak English like this. And when I talk to foreigners, I often get compliments from them. And this is how I speak English now. People just talk loud, but in Japan, we don't really want people to know what you are talking about when you're speaking. So we just talk really quietly.
Yeah.
So it's very huge differences. So
yeah,
interesting.
Keep it personal. Like keep it to yourself.
Personal,
yeah.
But I can hear everything here.
No, yeah, I was like walking around and I heard like 5 different conversations, or like in the middle of like conversations, it's just walking by.
Yeah. And sometimes people even say, I thought you're from the United States. Or are you from Canada? That's a huge compliment for me because my goal was to be like a native English speaker. That was my dream and that's my goal. By the way, I'm still chasing it. But don't get twisted. I don't mean to show off my English, but I think you can tell how I speak is very similar to native English speakers, not like normal Japanese people speaking English. And there are also a lot of Japanese people like me speaking good English and look like a foreigner. But here's a question. Why do they look like so natural? Why do they look like speaking perfect English, almost like native English speaker? The answer is, it's not because you're fluent. Just because you're fluent, that doesn't mean you can speak English like a native English speaker. I have a question for you. Do you have someone you look up or you wish you could be like? I had some people like that when I started learning English. So in the beginning of my journey, I joined an event where I can have lunch with international students. I still remember clearly that there are 2 people and one is man and the other one is a woman, and they both speak very good English. And when I first saw them, I was so impressed by them. Like, I want to speak like them. I wish I could speak fluently like them. However, the guy was not attractive for me. I'm talking about English, his English. Okay, I'm not talking about his appearance or anything else. Okay, just English. But at the same time, the woman, she was so attractive. She had like a different vibe. And until she told me that she was Japanese, I didn't know she was Japanese. I thought she was like native English speaker. That was surprising. And again, at the time, I didn't really know the differences. Why I feel that way in a guy and why I feel that way in a woman. Because they both speak good English. Their English is so good, but something is different. But I've been studying English for a long time. So now I can clearly know the differences. The people who sounds like a native English speaker, they're not only focusing on their English skills. They capture the tone of voice, behavior, action, face expression, reaction, responses. The more closely you copy these characteristics, the more natural you speak English. But here's the most important things to understand. The language is deeply connected to culture. For example, imagine this. When you say konnichiwa to somebody, you bow a little bit, right? Konnichiwa, hajimemashite. So you bow a little bit. You feel like you're paying respect to someone. So it means bowing is part of greeting. It's a part of culture. But in English, you don't bow at all. You don't have to bow. If you bow, people look at you like a weird person. So you can't bow. You just say, hi, hello, how are you? What's your name? Where are you from? English is very straightforward and casual compared to Japanese. From this, again, language and culture is connected. If you want to speak like a native English speaker, you have to understand the Western culture. Okay, there's another interesting story. I teach English, and one day, one of my students and I talked about this, and she also speaks a little bit of Korean. And what she said was very interesting. And when she speaks Korean, and when she wants to become like a total Korean people, she uses a little bit of a cute tone when she speaks Korean. Okay, I'm gonna break it down. So there's a word, oppa, meaning Oni-san in Japanese. So there's a word oppa, but more natural way to say this word is kind of like oppa, oppa. For Japanese people, it's like a cute tone. You're trying to be like cute, oppa. And for me, it's kind of embarrassing to say this, but for Korean people, this is the most natural way to say it. You know what I mean? So if you want to become like a native English speakers, like Spanish, Korean, English, whatever, in Korean, you have to sound like cute. Do you know what I'm saying? Isn't that interesting? And I asked her, okay, so when you speak English, how does that sound like? What do you feel? And she said, trying to be cool as much as possible. And she said, I feel like I'm more closer to native English speakers when I try to speak like that. And at the same time, it made me think like, oh, this is exactly how I feel. That's what I'm telling myself to behave like that, to be native English speakers. So the key of improving your English is to be confident. The key is confidence. Okay, there's another story. When I was in high school, in English class, we had a pronunciation exercise. So each student had to pronounce the word tomato, but everyone was so shy to say the right pronunciation. So when they say like tomato, 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 they keep saying tomato because they're embarrassed to say proper pronunciation. But there was only one girl who said like tomato. And after that, people started making fun of her because her pronunciation was close to real English. Like, stop trying to show off. But we were wrong. She was right. She was trying to be cool. She was trying to say the proper words like English. She was trying to copy. She was trying to say right words in right pronunciation. She was right. We were all wrong, right? And looking back, I was one of them teasing her. I was such a jerk at the moment. It's very embarrassing. It's a shame. But anyways, I think you're wondering what characteristics I should imitate. Well, they're all important, but the most important thing is reaction. Okay, for example, have you seen any Japanese people saying like, oh yeah, that's right. Yes, I'm from Osaka. Me too. This is not the way how Western people react. That was typical Japanese people who don't understand the Western culture, like English culture. Okay, for the record, I'm not talking shit about them, okay? But if your goal is to speak cool and natural English, you should cut that out. So right way to the reaction is like just simple words. Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. And when you are surprised, you can say, oh my god. That's it. Japanese people are like, hontoni? Like, It's not like that. For Western people, oh my god. It's like this reaction. Oh my god. Really? Are you kidding me? This kind of reaction. Even how you laugh is also different. Japanese people tend to laugh with tone voice, like high tone voice, like ha 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 ha. But that's not common in English. They don't really say voice. They're just laughing like without voice, like this, when they even smile a lot. But these small adjustments and details can make your English appear more cool and natural. What I want to tell you is not only to be fluent, but also to capture the details, the sense of details. But to be honest, it's very difficult for normal Japanese people who lives in Japan to get and capture and gain those characteristics, because usually people who study abroad or go abroad, live abroad, they can immerse themselves into a language and the culture, so they can just unintentionally gain these senses. But for normal people lives in Japan, it's very difficult, but you can definitely practice in Japan. So I'm gonna tell you what I did. So what I did was, when I watch TV dramas or movies in English, I try to copy their face expression, their tone of voice, their gesture, how to behave, everything. You try to copy them. Every details, right? Gesture, how they behave, how they react, how they say the things, okay? Every single details you capture and try to imitate, try to copy them. So you just try to capture every single details as closely as you can. And you can do it at home. And copying people is the most effective way to speak naturally. So if you want to speak English but you feel like you're stuck, just add my official line and I'm giving you a roadmap of how to study and how to become fluent. Thank you for watching the video. And if you find this video interested, please hit the subscribe and see you soon.